Hi, I'm Valentina. Welcome. In this video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be reviewing or talking about the African books that I've read so far. I read a lot of Western books, which is not bad, but I wanted to touch base with home a little bit, and that's why I particularly focused on reading African books for a period of time, and I'm happy I did because I learned so much. So let's get right into the review. This grading system is going to be 2.5 for writing style and 2.5 for how interesting and entertaining it is. Might not be the most precise or best way to grade it, but that's my method. So let's get right into it. The first book is Ogadinma. It follows the life of the titular character Ogadinma and how she navigates the unfortunate circumstances that life seems to throw at her. It was heavy but entertaining. Ukama the author, I believe. She did a wonderful work. By the way, there's definitely going to be a trigger warning, abuse in all forms. This is not spoiling the book. You have to know this. But yeah, I give it a 4/5. The next book is A Spell of Good Things. A Spell of Good Things follows two families as they navigate similar as well as different obstacles in life. It explores themes of mental health, power, family dynamic, corruption, abuse. This is a heavy book. It had so much depth. It explored so many issues that needed to be explored. This book also made me feel very Nigerian. So even if I could not relate to these experiences directly, there was just something about reading it. And I read a lot of books, particularly European American novels. And so just bringing it back home kind of does something to me. Also, just because the book is written by a Nigerian or characters have Nigerian names does not mean that the book is Nigerian or you feel like you're a Nigerian reading that book. I don't know if you get what I mean. So there are books that have been written by Nigerian authors and they claim they're Nigerian books, but I just don't feel the Nigerianness in the book. But I did so with A Spell of Good Things. All in all, I like the book. I give this book a 4.5/5. The next book I read was The Ardent Swarm. It follows a beekeeper in a fictitious village. His beehive is attacked, and so it's kind of like a personal slash general war between him and the attackers of his bees. Honestly, this book was not the most interesting. This book was actually boring. I feel like it's all these scholars and ficos that will like the book, which is not bad in any way, shape, or form. I love the symbolism and metaphor behind it. It basically explores themes like religion and political influence on the people. There's a lot of similarities between the citizens in this book and Nigerians. People who have just basically been brainwashed by religion and their political figures, etc. This book, in one sentence, boring but insightful. I would give it a 2.5 stars. I really love what this again embodies, signified, but not so much entertaining. So that's why I'm gonna give it a half mark. If you disagree, that's completely fine, but that's just my take. The next book is Kololo Hill. Kololo Hill follows the lives of this Ugandan Asian family after their tyrant slash dictator orders them to pack their things and return back to Asia despite living in Uganda and despite being Ugandan citizens all their life. And the Ugandan Asians who were not born there have basically lived there for decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, 5 decades, you name it. Although this is a fictional book, this is not set in a fictional time or period. There was a time in Ugandan history or in Uganda where the Asians were ordered out of Uganda. Reading this book, you get to really understand even just a tiny bit how rules and decrees like this change families' lives, change people's lives. There was a lot of character development we see on art. We are more similar than we are different in this life in Africa. Just learning about the Idi Amin reign of terror. It was such an interesting read because you read these things and you Google it and you're like, oh my god, this thing really happened. This book reminded me of why I wanted to read African books in the first place. By just reading this singular book, I learned so much about Uganda's history, and I think it's really important not just your country to just be knowledgeable about other countries and just happenings around the world. I gave this book a 4.2/5. I recommend. The next book that I'm giving a 5 out of 5 stars off the bat is News from Home. I could not believe that I'm just now reading News from Home. It's such a classic and I didn't even know. 5/5 because the stories are so interesting. This book was so creatively, eloquently written. As entertaining as it is, it's so educative. It blew my freaking mind. It's a collection of short stories. Its short stories encapsulate all issues or themes relatable to the contemporary Nigerian. Like with Spell of Good Things, I felt so Nigerian reading this book. I love that this book is so diverse. Our characters are kind of spread out, different tribes, social and economic class, religion. I think my favorite short story is Lawless. The next book is the extension of Menai. Again, this book reminded me of why I wanted to really focus on African literature for some time. The book Menai is a fictional tribe in Nigeria. When a pharmaceutical company administers an illegal slash fake drug slash vaccine to the people of Menai, decades later they suffer the after effects, and the remaining natives of Menai try to preserve their language, their culture, their tradition, and kind of pass it down to the next generation, even if they don't really have much of a next generation to pass it down to. Also, you need to know that they are twins. They are twins who don't know they are twins. So one is in Europe and the other is in Nigeria. The two brothers are menai as well. Their story is told alongside stories of the remaining of the menai people who are struggling to preserve what's left of their culture before they are all extinct, if they will ever get extinct. This synopsis might seem a bit scattered, but I'm so sorry. Stay with me, okay? I hope that was a good enough of an explanation. I thought it was interesting. It's a bit confusing because the book is quite long, so long. It just made me wonder what other tribes in Nigeria are extinct or are extinct because of the white people. Are they languages that will never be spoken again in the world because every member of that tribe is dead? It just causes you to wonder, doesn't it? A tip I would give for this book is to be patient with it. I ended up enjoying it, and I think you will as well. So just be patient with it. Yeah, 3.5/5, no issues. Now, this next book, 1.5/5. I want to give you zero. And the book is The Middle Daughter. This book was so unrealistically heavy. This book is so juvenile, and that is putting it light. I heard that the author has amazing books, so I don't understand what happened with The Middle Daughter. This Middle Daughter, it really pissed me off. It was so unrealistic. This teacher really took a hit with this book. I'm so sorry to say. I did not enjoy it at all. 40% into the book was when it started to go downhill. It just took a turn. I don't even understand. Even if it's a cartoon we are watching, it's still not fair to do this to someone. That's my review of the book. Please don't read it. Sit this one out, in my opinion. I'm probably biased in giving this 5/5, but humor is such a big thing for me, and the book is The Girl with the Louding Voice. This book made me laugh. Adoni, the lead character, she is such a vibe. The diction style, I was worried about it. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I got to buy it pretty quickly. So if you're ever worried about it, which I doubt, just know it. You're going to be fine. 5/5 for me. I did not have any issues with the book. I love how distracting it is. This girl is going through a lot, but because of how she sees life, just how strong and resilient she is, you kind of not focus on that. Don't focus on it as much, and because you don't focus on it or dwell on it as much, it takes on a whole new vibe and meaning, and you kind of see it in a different way and makes you appreciate the book more. And it's 5/5. The one I'm reading currently is I Did Not Come to You by Chance. So far, so good. I love the plot. It's a good storyline. I'm not done reading it, so I hope it doesn't annoy me. That brings us to the end of this video. Tell me what you think about the books I reviewed. You shared my sentiments, share my sentiments. I love to read. I'm a reader, and I had a long hiatus, and now I'm back, and I just think it's such a big part of me. But I'm start the reader, so I want to incorporate more of that into my channel. I'm begging you subscribe to my channel, so please subscribe. I know it's so called when you start to this thing, but it didn't mean still subscribe, still like, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend this video. You can also feel free to share this video to your friends. I'm begging you, please leave a comment as well, even if you just share blah 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 blah. It helps with the engagement. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Gracias.